Welcome to episode 27 of Street Sense with me, Maxwell Mensah. You can call me Talent Man. On this episode, I'm going to share with you 7 things to talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. 7 things to talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. But before I get into it, I want to remind you that I am on a 100 days YouTube challenge, and today is day 27. And so if you've watched any of my past episodes, or if this is your first time watching, and you are yet to subscribe, kindly help me on this journey I'm on and kindly subscribe now. Yeah, look for the subscribe button now and kindly subscribe now. Like this video, leave a comment for me. Whatever comments you have for me, just leave a comment for me and share the video so others can get to learn what you have been learning. And so let's get into today's topic, 7 things to talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You know, when you're dating, you need to find a way to always sustain conversations, or you need to find a way to always have conversations, things to talk about with the person you are dating. When it gets to the point where you both seem to have run out of conversation, you realize that things become quite dull, things become boring between the two of you. And so to prevent that from happening, you need to find a way to have things to talk about. There should be several things in your arsenal that you can talk about from time to time. And so let's get into it. The first thing you need to talk about, or you can talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, are things you have in common. Things you have in common. You realize that both of you are from different worlds before coming together. But some way, somehow, there are things that you both have in common. There are things that, while growing up, both of you seem to like or have an interest in. So both of you have things in common. That is a good place to start talking about things both of you have in common. It could be in terms of fashion or movie, or stories or jokes or past experiences, things you have in common. From time to time, you can talk about these things, and you realize that when you're talking about these things, hardly will you develop into an argument or a misunderstanding, because both of you have a common interest in that area. So when you're talking about it, both of you are excited because, it's a common ground, it's a common field, so the interest levels are equal. Or probably one person's own may be higher, but the interest levels are almost equal. And so when you're talking about these things, you can come up with a lot of conversations, things to talk about. Imagine talking about a movie like, this movie, the movie just skipped my mind right now. Oh, why? Someone should remind me. Okay, when I remember, I'll tell you, when you're talking about such movies, for example, there's always that sustained interest. Okay, a movie like All American, okay, it's a series, All American, when both of you and your boyfriend or your girlfriend both love that series and you're talking about it, you realize actually the conversation just keeps going. If you're talking about any of the Marvel movies, you can keep talking about them, the Spider-Man, the Batman, the Return of the Batman, and all those ones, you're talking about them, the interest will be sustained. And so, things you have in common, when you're with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, try talking about those things. The next thing are your individual interests. Your individual interests. You realize that beyond the common interests that you have, it is very, very possible that you and your boyfriend or your girlfriend have different interests. Of course, it's supposed to be so. Both of you will definitely have your own individual interests. And so from time to time, try and talk about your individual interests. Give her time to talk about her interests. And then she too must give you time to talk about your own interests as well. It helps because I didn't grow up with you. I don't know what you experienced. I don't know what you went through. So your own interests that you have that I may not have an interest in. From time to time, I need to allow you to talk about those things, just so that you'll be excited for the period when you're talking about those things. And then when I'm also talking about those things, you should also be able to engage me in the conversation so that both of us can keep our conversation going. We can both keep going together in our relationship. So first thing are things you have in common. Second thing are your individual interests. Don't forget that. The third thing you can talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend is your past lives. Your past lives. So it could be your past life when it comes to senior high school or primary or JHS, university, your past life in church, your past life at different workplaces you have worked at. You realize that when you're talking about your past life, normally a lot of things, because probably you are dating, let's even take you are even just 20 years old. There is a lot you can talk about from your past life, from your, of course, your nursery and kindergarten days, probably you may not remember much. But then your primary school days, JHS, SHS, university, those are things you can remember. Even whilst, if you're a church person, when you used to go to Sunday school, when you were going to the youth church, to another year in the adult church, there are so many things. There are so many things that you have experienced in your past life. So when you're talking about these things, you realize that a lot of conversations can come up. One area that most people like to talk about is their senior high school. Most people tend to love talking about their senior high school days than their tertiary school days. So why not spend some time talking about your senior high school, your house master, your house mistress, your seniors who used to bully you, your mates you used to fool with, your juniors you used to bully. Just that whole experience. Talk about it from time to time, and you'll be shocked how much both of you will be, happy to talk about your past lives. So definitely talk about those things. The next thing you can't let go or you can't overlook are your worries and fears. Your worries and fears, either of you, your worries and fears. When you're dating, you need to learn to feel comfortable around the person you're dating. And when you're comfortable, it gets to the point where you are able to be vulnerable before the person. You're able to tell the person your deepest secrets, your deepest worries, your fears in life. So why not talk about your worries in life, talk about your fears in life. Open up about these things and discuss them with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You'll be shocked how they can be able to help you to overcome those things that are your worries in life, those things that are your fears in life. So definitely find a way to talk about your worries and fears. Open up. Find a way to open up and talk about them, unless they are too sensitive. If your worries and fears are too sensitive, for example, if you had an abortion that nearly killed you and you don't feel comfortable talking about it, hey, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. It's not by force. But once you think you can talk about it, you think you can open up to discuss with your boyfriend or girlfriend, why not open up and talk about your worries and fears? The next thing, very important one, your future goals. Your future goals and plans. Your future goals and plans. You need to, by all means, have some plans for your life. You need to, by all means, have some future goals, some future plans, some things you want to do in 5 years, in 10 years, in your future life, when you get married, some things you want to do. You definitely need to have some future plans for yourself. And so what a nice way of, showing your boyfriend or your girlfriend that you are really fully into them by talking about your future goals, your future plans, the place you want to travel to, the kind of house you want to build, the kind of career you want to have, the kind of finances you want to have, the kind of family you want to build. What about your future plans? Open up and discuss these things with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You would be amazed how much you will get your boyfriend or your girlfriend to love you the more when you talk about these future plans. Especially if you really have future plans, like plans you have really sat down to plan for. Not just random thoughts. I'm talking about real plans that you have sat down to structure on paper. You understand? Talk about these things with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you'll be amazed. Some people love to have intellectual conversations with their boyfriend or their girlfriend. And so for someone like me, if you're having such conversations with me, and I see how deeply thought out your future plans are, it just draws me closer and closer to you, because Charlie, the life you're living is not for now, and the dating we are dating is not for now. We are dating for the future. So you should be able to outline certain future plans you have for yourself. It doesn't have to be so detailed, but at least if you have something in mind, okay, so in 5 years I'd want to be here. When I get married, I'd want to live in this kind of place. This is how I want my family to be. This is how I want to travel to. This is how much money I would want to make. All those things. It helps. So engage in conversations about your future plans. My future plans, her future plans. Both of you talk about your future plans. The next one, your families and friends. Your families and friends. But this one, let me just quickly say this. When you're talking about your family with your boyfriend, be mindful what you say. Be mindful what you say. Be mindful what you share. Because Charlie, in this life, no balance. Be mindful what you share. We all hope for the better. That Charlie, whilst you're dating, things will end up, very well. We'll get married and all that. Unless you get to that point where you're about to really get married, some of the things that you know are sensitive information about your family. Don't share them. Yeah. Some of the things about your family that are very sensitive information. I'm talking about very sensitive, not the normal ones like, oh, you have an uncle who drinks, or you have an uncle who is a womanizer, or you have an auntie who is this. These ones are normal. Some things in your family are very sensitive, and don't share those things until it is the best time, until you're almost married, or even, I can even say until you're married. So yes, talk about your families, your friends. The kind of friends you have, the kind of places you go to with them, the kind of things you do with them, the kind of things they do without you, your family, how many uncles you have, where they stay, their kids, how close you are with them, the kind of things you did when you were younger with them, the kind of fights you had with them, with your cousins. Try to talk about these things. It's nice, it's fun. But be careful. Don't talk about very sensitive information. Don't give out very sensitive information, because one day it may come back to bite you. The last thing to talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, before I get into it, let me remind you, kindly subscribe now. Kindly subscribe now. Subscribe now, like this video, leave a comment for me, and share this video so others can also get to watch. The last thing to talk about with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, Charlie, this one there, let's just break the ice in the later and let's get to naughty talks. Have naughty talks, have romantic talks, have future thoughts, future talks, sweet talks. Charlie, no matter how spiritual you are, and this is to the overly spiritual people. Charlie, you're very spiritual. I know, you are spiritual. But you are dating the lady or the guy to get married to the person. When you get married, you do all the naughty talks, all the romantic talks. You do them and you have them. So, right now that you are dating and you're not yet married, nothing stops you from having some of these naughty talks, some of these romantic talks. I'm not talking about going to talk about porn. No, that's what I'm talking about. No, that's what I'm talking about. But have healthy conversations. Well, some people are able to talk about porn and they're able to watch porn together with their boyfriend or girlfriend. That's totally up to you. But find a way to have naughty talks. The way I'm looking at you on our wedding night, what I'll do to you, Charlie. The way you don't want me to kiss you, and the day I'll kiss you, I'll bite off your lips. Charlie, like, have naughty talks, have romantic talks. Hey, I'm not saying that's what I say, but find a way to have naughty talks with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. See, find a way to keep that romantic part of you alive in your relationship, else it can harm you. Yeah, it can harm you. Keep the romantic part of your relationship very much alive. If you don't want to have sex, that's totally up to you. If you want to have sex, that's totally up to you. At this point, you're an adult. You know what is right and what is wrong. Morally, you know what is right and what is wrong. If you want to go ahead, it's up to you. If you don't want to go ahead, it's up to you. But find a way to have some small naughty talks. Not so naughty that you both of you will tend on. You'll be so horny that you have to end up doing some things that you plan not to do. But have naughty talks from time to time. Have naughty talks. Have naughty talks. Have sweet talks. Don't mind me. And so that's the seventh one. But let me give you a bonus one. Talk about your love for each other. Talk about your love for each other. Assure each other of your love for one another. Charlie, when you are dating, never get fed up of reassuring your boyfriend or your girlfriend how much you love them. Say it as often as you can. It shouldn't lose its meaning though. But then find a way to say it as often as you can. Reassure them of your love. It is very, very important. Look, it is very important. Else you can be dating someone and the person has fallen out of love with you a very long time ago. And you think you're dating a person, but all along you've been dating yourself. You've been dating yourself all along. The person has been long gone. But because you don't reassure each other about your love for one another, constantly reassuring, oh, I love you, so and so. You would date for 5 years, only to realize that actually you've been dating yourself alone. The other person was not in a relationship. So the bonus point is that talk about your love for each other, reassure each other about your love as often as you can. And I am very sure your relationship will be beautiful, it will be a success, and both of you be happy to be in that relationship. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Street Sense with me, Maxwell Mensah. Please subscribe now, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you very much.